later. Okay, so we are talking about chapters 7, 8, and 9. Law 7 is the law of connecting. I think which is really in network marketing, it's just what we do for a living. If we are decent at all at this career, it is because we are good at connecting. And so I really like what he says. The law of connecting, it's really all about meeting people where they are. It's about understanding other people's needs, wants, and desires before you connect with them. And lo and behold, doesn't this just go right back to, again, I feel like it keeps coming up over and over, which is reinforcing to me that it is the right thing. But when people say, what is plexus, or ask you what you do, first we have to understand other person's needs, wants, and desires. So there was an interesting question on our Diamond Sprint training, and I loved it. It was Brianna Coolidge, and she said, I'm kind of struggling with this question of asking, before I go into all the science and the geeky things, let me ask you a couple questions. Is there anything you're struggling with your health? And she said, I can't get past the fact that it's a 50-year-old man at the airport who saw my plexus shirt and is asking me, what is plexus? And he doesn't really want to know he's not asking for like help. He just has never seen the name. And so Genevieve said, that's a great thought. So probably clarifying first, if somebody asks you what is plexus, and you can say, if it's not somebody you've already been talking to, or it's a post where people are like, what is plexus? They clearly are already following you and more curious. But to a stranger who just sees you wearing a plexus shirt or a plexus hat, or hears you mention it, you can say something along the lines of, do you mean, are you asking what I do for a living? Or are you asking what the company, like you've never heard of the word plexus? And then you just go, oh, it's, Plexus Worldwide, headquartered in Scottsdale, Arizona. Like some people are just like, who do you work for? Plexus, right? So it's important to know what other people want. What are they gathering at? They may just be curious what in the world a plexus is, right? They've maybe never seen the word. So something super important when you're connecting is authenticity, and just being real and honest and genuine, transparent. The more transparent you can be, the stronger you're going to connect with somebody, because they're going to see something. When you are very vulnerable with people, they then see that as an opportunity to open up and be vulnerable in return. It just is. I think you've all experienced that in life. And it's just really as simple as that. So one thing you can think about when chatting with people is trying to figure out what kind of common ground you have with them. And that comes from asking questions, right? I usually start with kids. Kids are usually a common ground. But then if they have like toddlers, and my youngest is 12, that's not really a common ground anymore, right? Because it's so different. They are exhausted and tired and just want to leave their house and talk to a grown-up when you have toddlers. Like my kids are big, and so it's a different ball game. So I got to find something else, then I might go to exercise. Then I might go to, where are you from? You have to be able to ask questions. And in the chapters, of course, he's really talking about it from a stage perspective. But I think for us, again, your stage is social media. And your stage is when you're able to meet people in person. And it can be as simple as talking to somebody in the line at the grocery store. It can be so simple, forming a little thing. So ask yourself, make a little note. How can I improve my skills in connecting with others? We can all get better at anything, right? None of us are great at everything. I'm in a continual process, I feel like, of trying to listen better. It's a carryover, I think, from when my brain injury, there was a time when I didn't speak much. And then as I came out of it, it didn't control as well. So if somebody was talking, I regularly would cut them off to say what I had to say. I don't know if it was out of fear of forgetting it or just a lack of everything just didn't work well, but I regularly cut people off to tell them what I wanted to tell them. And it was connected, right? It wasn't like they were talking about, something and I went off way over here. It was always connected, but I would find myself walking away from conversations thinking, I don't know if I ever got the rest of their story. Did I cut them off to share my story or my perspective? And I've tried to get better at that. And something I've done to help me with that, honestly, is when I walk away and I realize I've done that, I will message them or text them and say, or call them and go, I never heard the rest of what's going on with your son. I am so sorry. I don't know if, the waitress came and took our order and we never got back to it, or if I, cut you off to share something that happened in my life, but tell me. Finish telling me what's going on with your son. Don't be afraid to go back to a conversation. I think there's a lot of value in that, of realizing, and nope, you guys may not struggle with that. I do. I struggle with talking sometimes and not being as active of a listener. I think men struggle with it a lot. Men really want to just fix things. And you're only 10 words into your problem and you want to talk to them for an hour and they wanted you to stop. They've cut you off and they've gone to fix whatever your problem is. And you're like, no, I just wanted to talk. I don't need you to fix it. What do you guys think about that? Any thoughts? I think you're probably all really great at it. So
no, I'm not great at it. And sometimes I'm like you, I have to purpose to even hear their name. You've really got to stop. Because if you're going to communicate with them, it's really, to me, imperative. What is your name? Not in yoo-hoo. I've never seen you. But anyway, I think that's connecting is, if you don't have a connection in your fence, it's broken.
Yes. And it takes a lot of effort. It really does. And you know what it takes? Caring what they have to say. And sometimes aren't we so busy that we're you're happy to meet them, but you got 500 things going on in your head and you're like, wait, I just walked away from there and I don't remember what they said their name was. I don't remember, and so kind of slowing down and looking them in the eye and just taking a minute. Sonia Deadly is the best at that. I don't think there's anybody better than Sonia Deadly. If you get in front of her, she is going to see you and she is going to remember you and she's going to compliment you and you're going to remember it forever. And if you tell her one thing about yourself, when she sees you next year at convention, she's going to remember that one thing and she's going to ask you about it. I've never seen anything like it. I am the person who's okay, what's their name? What's their name? What's their name? I know I've talked to them. What's their name? That's me. she is remarkable. And so I try to emulate that, and I'm a million years away behind her on that, but I still try. Little things, because if you watch her, she will find something to compliment genuinely with everybody. And so I try to do that with people I'm trying to create a relationship with, right? People who I go to church with, who maybe I don't know very well. If I like their shoes, I will just go up and say, I love your shoes.
Yes.
Right? It can be as simple as noticing something great about somebody and pointing it out to them. Don't we all love to be complimented?
Right. And the motive of what, are they going to come back and buy? That cannot even be in the back of your mind.
No.
They're people.
They're just people that you're forging a relationship with. And when that happens, before you know it, they trust you and they're ready to order. You know?
They'll ask you, you won't even have to give them a pitch.
No, correct. They're just like, what do you think I should get? And you just tell them, and they're like, okay. Those are the best sales ever. You know, best ever. All right. Chapter 8, the law of leverage. The law of leverage is all about knowing what your strengths are and focusing on your strengths, right? Have you guys read or done Strengths Finder? Have you done that? Okay.
Yes.
I was listening to this and thinking, I wonder
I
if
have where I land on it. It's been a while.
Well, that was what I was thinking, Abby, last night when I was listening to this in the airport parking lot. I was like, I feel like my strengths might have changed since I took this test, because I think I did this test in 2009.
Oh,
and
you're a different person.
I'm a totally different person. I'm 100%. I had to do this for a job I had before I retired from my brain injury. That's how different I am. So I was like, I totally need to do this again. So I'm putting us here. I'm putting it here so that I remember to redo it. But if you guys have, read that book and done that, the law of leverage. Like, stop trying to be great at what you're not really like there are certain things, that we're not great at, right? That we're weaker in. And what John really talks about in this book, what lots of other people have talked about as well, is the fact that in our weaknesses, if we're like a 2 or 3 out of 10 in certain areas, we could work real hard on it and still probably only become a 3 or a 4, right? And nobody is paying or taking value in somebody who's a 3 or a 4 at something, but he says they'll get in line for a 9, right? If you're a 9 at something. So, and he talks about, like, if you're a 7 on something out of 10, work on that and you'll become a 8, a 9, a 10, because you can only grow like 1 or 2 numbers higher. And so if you work on your weakness, you're maybe going to be a 4. Nobody cares what a 4 has to say. You are for sure not an expert in whatever that is, right? But if you're like a 7 in an area and you work on it, you become a 9. And his quote was, people get in line to hear a 9. And I love that. And so the key is knowing your strengths, leaning into that and sharing. Leverage, basically, it's called the law of leverage because it's leveraging what you're good at. And let's see. I liked too also the idea of building and leveraging relationships, right? So build strong relationships with others can create opportunities for leverage. By cultivating meaningful connections and building trust, You can tap into the resources, expertise, and influence of others to achieve your goals. So how I would put that in your business terms would be knowing people who, so Judy Frazier, if ever I come across somebody who has MS, I connect them to Judy Frazier. Judy, will you tell them your story? Like, I can for sure like copy and paste the testimony, but Judy, would you be willing, like somebody who has MS has lost hope, and Judy could actually use her voice to talk to them. They may
Absolutely.
or may
Love
not
that.
order, but I leverage Judy Frazier. I get leveraged all the time. People all across Plexus, when they come across somebody with a brain injury, they message me and go, will you talk to them? Will you message them? Yes. People have concussions, they come to me. There's certain things that I have strengths in. I super wish that I did not have those strengths. I wish that I was not an expert in brain injury, suicide, or concussions, but I am, and people leverage that as they should. Right? So
Yeah.
that is being aware of other people and their testimonies when they're really remarkable ones, right? Like I love the regular, just mom who feels better and has energy to play with their kids. That's amazing. But there are stories that we haven't been able to tell on Facebook since 2018 and the FTC crackdown, right? Where we
Right.
were telling very boldly things that were changing. And a lot of those people are still around,
Yes.
right? The people that had not great health changes, but maybe made a lot of money, many of them are hopping around from company to company, right? They're moving on. They're like going to make more money doing this. The people with the crazy, like, I can't imagine hopping over to another company. Could I make more money? Maybe. This company's products changed my life. You're not going to see me, I feel like I could say that safely, selling another gut health brand. You're just not going to see me doing it. And I think the same for like Judy. You know, there's just certain people. And again, it goes back to, I am so glad that I started my prospect page way back then in 2017, because all those testimonies are still in there. All those illegal testimonies are in there, and I can send them privately, or I can reach out to those people. That's leveraging other people around you. It could be leveraging, you know, you may meet somebody who really would like to make significant income with Plexus. And you may think to yourself, well, I've never done that. Even though we've done trainings on this, like if you can teach people to go silver over and over and over, you can teach them to make a lot of money. But I do think that it's fair for you to have a thought in your mind, well, I don't make $5,000 a month. So how can they're not going to trust me. Like I always say, don't take money advice from a broke person.
That's
This is
right.
not saying you're broke, but it's like, if you're going to tell somebody that they can make $5,000 a month, but you've never done it, they may not take you as seriously. So in that case, you would maybe leverage me or like somebody who's done it, right? And
Right.
go, you know, Christy's going to help us do this. She's already done it.
You have credence, and so
Yes.
many people do not.
Yes.
And if you don't have it, I'm like you, they're not going to come to you. And we can't present it the way they need it because we don't have it. You cannot
don't have
give
it.
what you don't have.
It makes it harder. And, you know, same with anything, really, consistency. Like, if you know you have to be consistent to be successful, you know, link arms with somebody who shows up over and over every day, not somebody who shows up just at the end of the month to try to make sure your people are ordered, but somebody who's showing up And that's, and that's leverage, like really just linking in with people who help make you better, and then also leveraging your strengths. I think that it is a strength to be connected to people who are succeeding.
Mm-hmm.
One of the parts of the training on Wednesday, do you remember, was like, surround yourself with people who are doing the things, because they're going to if you see me showing up week after week after week, you don't have to show up, but you might think, well, God, is that what I need to do? Maybe,
Right.
So here you want to just really, for this chapter, I think it's important to know what your strengths are. For me, I'm going to retake this test. I know what a lot of my strengths are. I kind of stay in my lane. There are things I'm not great at, and there are things that I'm pretty good at, and things I'm passionate about, and I'm really good at staying in my lane. But I think it doesn't hurt to dig into my strengths better, because this book is really great. Abby, did you say you had taken it a while ago? I don't know if she had to jump off.
I don't remember how long it's been. I can't even guess if it's been like a year or whatever. I want to say it's probably been within the last 2 years.
Oh, well, that's not bad. But you've also had a lot of life changes in the last 2 years, yes?
I have 3 years primarily, but yeah, there's been a lot changed.
Yeah. And I think when we are presented with hard times, challenging times, it creates strengths in us that we maybe didn't realize we had before, because we never had to use them.
Right.
Would you agree?
A lot that I've realized over the last 3 years, that there's other things that I'm capable of, and other things that I struggled with beforehand, that I know I can handle. So and even so, like, I took the test and I don't even remember what my strengths were. So it probably is not a bad idea for me to go back and retake it.
Yeah, I think also sometimes, isn't it great just to hear that you're great at something, even if it's from a book?
It's all that you gotta have that to keep you going. You have to.
Like, I want to take it just so I can read about how good I am at something. You guys.
Definitely taking it. I haven't done it in years. I like that, but that's very important. We need to know we can do something.
Yes.
That's what we were created for.
Yes. It's like my firm belief is that if you woke up breathing, it's because God's got more stuff for you to do today. And you can't do it if you're hiding in the shadows and thinking you're not good at anything. You are good at something. Lots of things. And sometimes we forget what they are.
Well, and I was told for so long I wasn't good at things. So that's been a huge thing where I'm coming back from, and I'm trying to have faith in myself and know that I am capable and worthy and enough and all of that good stuff.
Abby, that sounds like lots of affirmations need to be happening in your day, every day. And if you haven't done it already, I would recommend writing down all those things that were said that you weren't good at, or negative things, and then rewriting them into the positive.
Okay, I've never thought of it that way. I've always looked online for affirmations, but I guess that's how you come back to the law of leverage, where you use what it is about you.
They're right inside of you. Any doubts that you have, any concerns you have, anything, you just flip it. You just flip it, right? And, yes, I do them every morning. And especially if I am struggling in certain things, like getting my health back on track after being out, what are we at 18 weeks now of me not really being able to work out, and then sitting in my recliner and eating M&Ms. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm definitely not in optimum health. And so my affirmations in the morning, you know, I exercise every day. I am not exercising every day yet. I can't hardly do anything yet, but I say it because
Because it will come to pass.
yes, and the exercise can even be walking my dog longer than past when he poops, right?
Mhm.
Like, yes, he has to go to the bathroom, but it is exercise if I walk him for another 10 minutes. It's getting me back in the thought and motion of working out, right? So I exercise every day. I eat healthy. I mean, one of my affirmations is I eat healthy. Lord, the only greens I get are in powder form sold by Plexus, y'all. Like, but I eat healthy. To me, that means not eating as much sugar or no processed sugar, right? But I eat healthy every day. I have abundant wealth. I used to say I make a lot of money. Christy Barkley's problem is she spends as much money as she makes. That wasn't working for me. I actually wanted to build wealth so that I'm able to do bigger things than buy cool shoes and purses, right? So, and I didn't like the word save. That made me feel yucky. So one of my affirmations every day is I'm building abundant wealth, because wealth is like stored money that you can access, right?
Mhm.
I don't have a money making problem. I have a money keeping problem. So, you know, so writing down things that you want to change or you don't like, or that you've been told. Like, I grew up being told that I was, pardon my language, but a bitch from baby on. You're such a bitch. You're such a snob. And so I had to reframe that. And I used to, now I don't anymore, but I had affirmations for a long time that was like, I am kind. I am loving. I have great friends. Because when you're told those things for so long, it is hard to believe the opposite.
Well, and
Absolutely.
other people with that, because I have been told that. I've been told that I'm a bitch. And so I walk on eggshells and I'm always apologizing. Like at my job now, I've had a lady that's told me multiple times, she's like, stop apologizing. You don't have to keep apologizing. Like, you're good at response time. You respond in a very timely manner. So just because you didn't answer me within the last 5 minutes of me sending it, you don't have to apologize. But that's been ingrained in me because I've been told I'm not good enough or whatever. I'm not smart enough. I'm not intelligent enough. I'm not whatever. And so I always apologize. Now, this was 20 years ago, but I was valedictorian of my high school. So for someone to tell me I'm not intelligent enough or I'm not hardworking, like that doesn't make sense. Like, logically, I get that. Rationally, I get that. But it's things that's been ingrained for so long that has to be fixed.
Yeah. And it really is, you know, off the top of my head, Abby, I mean, it's affirmations of I am intelligent. I am smart. I reply in a timely fashion. People love to work with me. I am a great employee. I am wonderful at my job. Like, I am a great friend.
And that's the thing, is like I was able to negotiate like a part-time job with something else because I had did such a great job filling in when they needed me that they want to lose me. So it's like, you know, that's a huge accomplishment there.
It's huge. And it's like, our brain is really fascinating because it knows, right? You know, on paper, you're like, well, this is good. And it's able to pop up when we're going through it. But when you're when you've been told for years negative things about you, it takes a while to reframe it. And it takes like 3 positive things for every negative thing that happens to you, right? So you're in the beginning stages of realizing how remarkable you are again, right? Like, because we can be remarkable and then we slowly ease into somebody makes us, we allow other people to make us feel, you know, we believe what they say, like they're supposed to love us. And so we trust them and we believe what they say, and we get to this point and it's hard to come back from it, but it is literally You know, your brain will believe anything you tell it, but when it's been told negative things for so long, it is just critical for you to look in the mirror over and over and over again and say the great things about you that in your mind, you know they're true, but in your heart and your brain is having trouble believing it at the moment. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
It does.
It's just a process. I only know it so well and can speak so passionately on it because I've done it. And I have done it successfully in many, many areas of my life. Right. And so I know that it works and it just is a game changer. As silly as it sounds. And I'm not saying like the affirmations of like, I own a yacht. I'm not doing that. Like,
Right.
I'm just trying to eat healthy, right? Not the affirmations where it's like they're so outlandish and you're like, you sound ridiculous. No, but like the things, and also, but still push the boundaries, right? Like I have one of my affirmations is I have $1 billion company. Not that I'm
Yes.
making $1 billion, but that one day, you know, we got $1 billion and
Where you going?
yeah, you know, and that can be with our property management company also, like combined. It doesn't like there are outlandish things on there, but there are also very real things I need every day to remind my brain, hey, Christy, remember you exercise. You forgot that you exercise, but let me just remind you, you exercise every day. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm just aware of it, right? Part of the training on Wednesday was like having your goals in front of you. A lot of that can come from affirmations, and a lot of affirmations, your goals can be loving yourself, being proud of yourself, recognizing the greatness in you. Those are goals as well. Being a great mom, you know, for me, one of my affirmations is I'm a loving wife because I get so busy. You know, you all know, you get so busy doing all the things that moms do. And then your husband wants you to be super nice and kind and loving. And I'm like, I didn't put you on my to-do list today. No, I don't. You didn't make it on my list. Right. And so I have to remind myself, like, for him, I have to be a loving wife, you know. Sometimes I have to tell myself you're a kind and compassionate sister. Affirmations can come in all forms, and I think sometimes they get pigeonholed into things that maybe aren't useful. Just my 2 cents and how I've used them in my life.
I agree. I tend to overthink them too, and we think that they have to be like huge or monumentous, like I own a yacht. But I also read somewhere is you have to actually believe what you're putting out there, because if you say I own a yacht, like you don't actually own a yacht, so your brain knows that and your brain's going to fight it.
Mhm.
It could even be like you could reword it to say I'm working hard every day to one day own a yacht. Like it's very psychological in how you have to word it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I was going to say, yes, you're absolutely right. I was going to make a book recommendation, but everybody's got too much going on. I'm not giving you another book, but I probably,
What's the name?
it's super old. And I actually did a book study on it, I think in 2016. And it's, look how old this is. I think it's $4 on Amazon. Well, what to say when you talk to yourself?
Oh, I have that one. I started reading it and then got distracted.
Look, it's like the reading rainbow in my book. I just go
Mhm.
back to it all the time. It's got so much goodness. So much goodness. So, I don't know how we got on that tangent, but it was super fun.
Whoopsie.
No, I know
Okay.
every single thing happens for a reason. Every conversation happens for a reason. 1 gazillion %.
Absolutely.
Oh, I liked in the law of leverage. I forgot how he did this. just talking about trying not to be like other people. And this is like what knowing your strengths are, right? Like my husband all the time will be like, you should be more funny in your Facebook lives. And I'm like, I'm not funny. It's not. He's like, well, you make people laugh. And I'm like, yeah, but kind of like on accident. Like, yes, I can make people laugh, kind of. It can happen, but that is making people laugh is not my strength. It is his strength. He wants it to be his legacy that he has made everybody laugh. Like his whole goal in life is to make people laugh. He's brilliant at it. I am not. You're going to laugh every so often because I can be a little ridiculous. I'm not funny. I think there's a difference between ridiculous and funny, right? So when you're talking to people, like if you're not naturally just easy, funny, you're not, then don't start conversations by like telling jokes. You're like, well, Steve Harvey's great. He starts with jokes and everybody's laughing and he gets people reeled in. If you're just not, that's not your strength, don't lead with that. You know, that's kind of in the law of leverage. He talks about of like, he breaks the strengths down when you're communicating into heart, help, humor, or hope. So when I say those, can you think of what you're best at? So heart is when you have really strong emotional connections with people. Very authentic, very personable, very vulnerable, very open. And you can have all these, but you're probably going to have one more than the others. Help, and I'm on page 152, 153. Help is adding value to people by giving them practical tools that improve their lives. That means equipping people to change what they see, how they think. So if you're like more of a helper, humor, again, being funny. It's just you speak and connect in a way that always causes people to laugh, but it allows them to be connected to you. And then hope is a fourth way to connect with people. And it's when you give people hope, when you just breathe life into people and you help people see that today can be better, the future can be better, they can be better. So when you think of that, when I read through those, can you think of which one comes the easiest to you?
Help,
Help.
help, and then hope.
Oh, hope. Help and then hope. Is that what you said? I like that. And then do you find that people affirm that in you?
Yes,
So you know your strengths, and so you'll lead with those things
yes.
when you
I'm having
communicate.
a challenge doing that way in Plexus. I'm really having those challenges. Because recruiting is not my thing. It just doesn't seem to be. But I love to help them and I always give them hope.
Why do you think it's a challenge in your Plexus business?
Well, just to be real honest, because I'm not a good recruiter yet. And I think, but when I don't think about those things, I'm always affirmed in how I've helped them. And I'm always affirmed in, man, you just make it so much better. It's just something that I know I can do.
Yeah. So it sounds like you know you have those strengths. You have a belief in your mind that you're not a good recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
How do you rephrase that?
I'm not a good recruiter yet. I'm working on it.
You
I'm
could
working hard
say,
day by day.
you could say, I communicate with help and love to recruit, to help people start their health journey. I think when you say recruiting, in your mind, you're thinking of like, I have to sell them something. And you're saying, I'm not good at, I'm not good at recruiting. I'm not good at adding people. But if you rephrase that and maybe said, sometimes certain words give people a block. So like I said, for me, it was saving. My husband was always like, you need to save more money. And I was like, no, No, that's like the nastiest word ever. Get out of my face. Like, I don't like that at all. I don't want to do that. And recruiting might be that word for you, because if you have a real heart for helping people and giving them hope and loving on them, there might be an invisible barrier in your mind that can't translate into getting them started on their plexus journey, because your mind is like, recruiting is selling to them and trying to get them to maybe do something they don't want to do, or get them to join, or I'm going to make money off of them, or I'm going to, make them feel pressured, or what if they don't feel as loved by me once I recruit them, right? But
Okay.
if you use your, and I'm not saying that's the case, but for some people it is. They
It's
just have
huge.
this,
Yes, it is.
they just have this,
Obviously, it's a block.
they just have this barrier of, I really just want to love the people. I don't want to have to, I don't want to make money off of them, even though you want to make money.
Right,
There's like this barrier of like, well, if I sell to them, I'm going to make money, and then they may not feel that my love is just as genuine.
right,
They will, right? They're going to feel, when your love is genuine, it is whether or not you make $15 off them a month or not,
right,
right? And they're not thinking twice about it. They don't have a clue how much you made when they ordered from you.
right.
They don't have a clue, right? It just, there's not a single person that will join your business today that knows how much you made when they ordered. I got people on my team who don't know what they make when they sign somebody. So a new person for sure, right? Nope, they are not thinking about that. There's the few haters who get lots of attention on social media who are like, this person just trying to make money off me, or not.
Right,
They're just extra loud. When your focus is loving and helping people, they're going to want to join your team because you love, help, and give them hope more than anybody else.
right. Okay,
And
I'll find another word. I'll find a synonym.
yes, you could say, I am great at offering hope through plexus to lots of people.
Okay,
Lots of people find, get help from me when I share plexus with them. Or I help lots of people start their health journey.
I like that. I
So
can, yes, thank
I want
you.
you to like make a post-it of that and have it on your computer. And it's, I help lots of people start their health journey with plexus.
Okay, thank you.
See how it's just sometimes we just got to play around with the words, because it's one little word can be icky to us and it literally blocks it.
It does, it totally annihilates it.
But doesn't it feel great to help lots of people start their health journey with plexus?
Right,
Because you are offering them hope and help, and those are your strengths, and that's how you communicate. That's
okay,
what's natural to you. In our last 10 minutes, let's talk about the law of anticipation. And I love this because it is like literally at the top, it says, when you can't wait to say it, they can't wait to hear it.
oh, I hadn't thought about
The
that.
truth, like, people feed off of your energy.
Yes,
All day, every day, they feed off your energy. And if you are so excited at how much better they're going to feel when they start, they don't even know what's happening. Like, they're just like, oh, yes, I want that. I want that energy. I want to feel great. It is like, this is 162. He kind of breaks it down. But dread is a negative expectations about you and your message. That's like if you dread talking to somebody. Like if Gina, if you've been like, God, I've got this far with them, but I really dread asking them to order, or asking them, I really dread recruiting them. that's going to come across in your message. Just in
Right.
your tone, just in your tone. Indifference is the neutral expectations toward you or your message. You're not really expecting anything. You're like, whatever, I got to talk to these people and I don't, whatever is going to happen. Total indifference. Curiosity is tentative expectations about you or your message. And then anticipation is positive expectations about you and your message. Like you are expecting that they are going to be excited to start their health journey with you. I 100% expect everybody I talk to in person to order Plexus from me. I just do. They might not order it that day. They're going to.
Oh, okay.
I just expect it. And if it takes dripping on them for a few months or, you know, whatever it looks like, I expect that they will order. And it typically comes when I least expect it. You know, I'll get a message, okay, I'm ready to order now. Okay. But we've had lunch or we've talked at church or we talked at a networking event or they heard me talking to somebody else who's already using the products. They see my post. I'm expecting them to order.
Okay.
So he really just goes into I like on 169 the audience perspective, but this is your audience are you know, everybody that you're in front of or talk to or who sees your post, and that's believe people can and want to improve their lives. If you think nobody's going to want to try to get healthy, guess what? Nobody's going to want to try to get healthy with you because you don't think any of them want to do it. You have to believe that they want to get healthy and they want you to help them get healthy and feel better.
And that's portrayed, that's given over to them in our body language, if nothing else.
Yes. Yes. 1,000,000%. He talks a little bit on 170 about not giving the audience a question that they cannot answer and then tell them the answer to make you look smart. For me, like that goes right back to, I'm not going to get into the science and all the details, but tell me, do you have one or two things in your health that are giving you trouble or that you'd like to be better? Right? Because, well, I can't go into the science. I have zero desire to go into the science. Could I learn it 100%? Do I want to? No, because I don't think anybody cares. I have gone emerald by not knowing any ingredients. That's all.
That's great.
I am proof that it is not necessary. Yeah. I have the heart and hope that this is going to help people. That's all. That's all. But when you start going into those things, if it doesn't make sense to people, you have lost them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know, some people you can lose them at microbiome.
Yes.
Like, I didn't do so good in science class. Same. Okay, let's skip over the microbiome. Let's just not even go there. Right? Like, don't talk down to people. You don't even mean to, but if you are naturally going to know more about plexus than anybody you're talking to. Okay. So don't ask them questions that they for sure are not going to know the answer to. Do you know what they know the answer to? Their health, how they feel, how they want to feel.
Okay.
They know the answers to that. And then how to create an atmosphere of anticipation. And it's just start talking. He says, turn the faucet on. Louis L'Amour says, start writing no matter what. The water does not flow until the faucet is turned on.
I hadn't thought about that, but that's right.
Right?
Yes.
You got to just start.
Start.
Just start talking to the people. And says, don't wait for an opportunity to start getting ready. Get ready and then find an opportunity. You guys are ready. You show up for calls, you show up for trainings, you show up to events. Turn the faucet on. You know, believe. And then be a fountain, not a drain. Genevieve talks about all the time of like, it's no good to add people to your boat, your Plexus business, if you got a bunch of leaks in your boat, you know, and that is doing the right things for them, onboarding them, having a system, you know, and helping them get started, knowing how to help them through detox, like just having your system of loving on people will make it so. I mean, I think the biggest holes in my boat when I very first started was I didn't know how to handle when people had detox in my first year or so. And so people would have these issues and I'd be like, oh, that's awful. And they'd be like, I'm not going to take it anymore. And I'd say, okay, that's all.
Right.
Well, now I've handled every detox, every objection, anything I feel like under the sun that could possibly come up. And so I tell any of my people who add people, hey, if they reach out and they're not feeling anything besides great, you need to tell me. Don't let them quit. Don't let them turn their order off. Like, let me talk to them, right? Because they're like, well, what if this? And they're anticipating, you know, because they're new to sharing, right? And their person is new. And so they're anticipating these negative things. And I'm like, I don't anticipate that. I know if they stick with it for 90 days, they're good. And it's my job to be like, yes, that's totally normal. But when I was brand new, I didn't know it was normal, right? So I can't assume anybody new that joins my team will know that it's normal because I didn't. But I can let them know, hey, send them to me or send me the issue. Let me help, because otherwise you're going to keep adding people, but there's a bunch of holes in your boat, so they keep dropping out.
Right.
You don't know how to handle their issues. And so when you have new people join you, right, the goal is to grow your business. And so if you have somebody join your team and they want to share it with their friends and family, that's beautiful, only if you make sure there's no holes in their boat.
Right.
And you're the sealant. You're the one that has to help them, because assuming they know how to work a Plexus business is probably a wrong assumption.
Right.
It
You're
just
right.
is.
That's good stuff. Thank you.
So, all right. I like this. I'm going to share this last quote from 176, which says, if I were to wish for anything, I should not wish for wealth and power, but for the passionate sense of the potential, for the eye which, ever young and ardent, sees the possible. Pleasure disappoints, possibilities never.
Right.
Never give up the hope that great things are coming.
Right.
And by growing your communication, talking to more people, being in front of more people, going live more, whatever it looks like to you, sharing hope, sharing health, sharing happiness, being hopeful, helpful, happy yourself. And
Right.
even if that's just through, not even if, like, affirmations are a ginormous part of my day. Every morning, affirmations and gratitude.
Right. Okay.
Affirmations and gratitude, usually while I'm walking the dog for his first poop session, looking around the world. Like, I am not grateful it's 100 degrees, but it feels like 120 from the humidity. Not grateful for that. I'm grateful for a house with air conditioning. Yesterday I was driving, it was literally like 102 degrees, and I was just randomly saying gratitude, and I said, I am grateful for a car with air conditioning. It doesn't have to be big, y'all. It doesn't have to be big.
No. No. And it
Just-
changes immediately when we become grateful.
Yes. Yes. Like, I could be a curmudgeon, like, I hate being stuck in traffic. Or I could be like, so glad I have a car with air conditioning. Feels
So that
different.
I have a car, that I don't have to
Yes. Us
walk. and
standing
all
at the
things.
bus stop.
Oh, yes.
Lord of mercy. So perspective, communication, loving on people, assuming that people are excited to hear from you. That's a big one.
Okay. I hadn't thought about that.
Not that
Okay.
they're dreading that you're going to reach out to them, but they are excited to hear from you. You have friends who don't feel great, and they will be so excited to hear from you. Reach out to them.
Hey, I like that one. I hadn't. But I got it now.
You got it now. Any last thoughts, Abby? You might be at her having jumped off point. All right, it's 11:02, y'all.
No, I was here. I was listening. I had it muted. I was trying to get some work done, finished up, and never know what's going to set the dogs off. So keep it muted. But no,
Yes.
I'm great advice.
Okay. Well, I hope that that was helpful, you guys.
It was. Have a good weekend.
It's my mother-in-law's 70th birthday, and she is throwing herself a ginormous party. Like
Is she?
75 people are coming. Open bar. That's why my son and his fiance flew in. Like, she is throwing herself a big old to do. And I say, why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Absolutely.
She was telling me yesterday, she goes, I finally decided to do open bar instead of cash bar. And I said, spend that money, Grandma. It's yours. Like, you
Right.
know, all your friends and family that are flying in, like, yes.
And this is your birthday.
Yes. 70. Let's celebrate that crap.
Absolutely.
So that's what we'll be doing. But if you guys need anything, let me know. It's the end of the month. So I know things will pop up. If you need me, reach out.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you so much
Christy.
for your
Bye, guys. You guys are awesome. Thanks for
Bye.
jumping on. Bye.